Oh, patch notes. It's patch notes time. It's time to read those patch notes, yeah. Patch notes. It's patch notes time. It's time to read those patch notes, yeah. Patch notes. It's patch notes time. It's time to read those patch notes, yeah. Okay, so what are we on? We are on patch 12.11. You guys who've been playing this game, at least in ranked, has been 12 years old now. Wow. Ari's boobs are still big. They're not like that in-game, are they? Actually, in-game, they're not that large at all. Anyway, so time to read these patch notes. This patch, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of background right now. First off, when I was getting coffee today, there's a Starbucks machine at the front. And every time after it, it makes the coffee, and then it dribbles a little bit at the end, and I always think to myself, man, me too. Coffee machine, me too. So this patch comes after 12.10, which is the large durability update. Everybody got that? Okay. So the durability update happened. There was a hotfix after that. I have videos on that if you want to keep up with that. Now, what Ryze did not do was the lethality and some other changes, right? I have a video on that too if you want to see that. So I'm hoping going into this, everybody's caught up and we know exactly what's going into this patch. Okay. So patch 12.11 is trying to address some of the problem champions of patch 12.10, which was obviously, again, the durability update. So now we are trying to fix that. By we, I mean me and Ryze, we're obviously working together. So Bel'Veth is being released today. Okay, so lots of buffs, lots of nerfs, lots of adjustments on everyone. Okay, so Bel'Veth is being released on actually June 9th, my bad. So 2 days from now. 2 days from now, Bel'Veth is coming out. My bad, I said it now. And yeah, that's about it. Bel'Veth is coming out. Aphelios. Okay, so Aphelios. Let's talk about Aphelios. So Aphelios. So Aphelios himself, I don't believe is doing any worse. What happened, although he is doing worse. What happened isn't anything that changed Aphelios. Aphelios himself, Aphelios, that champion, I don't believe he went up or down that much on his own. But what happened is when they nerfed Lord Dominik's regards, remember Aphelios has a lot of lethality from his passive. The way, obviously, percent pen works is it removes the percent pen, then it removes the flat, because Aphelios basically was doing a really good impression of an AD assassin lethality champion. When they nerfed the percent pen on Lord Dominik's and made everybody tankier, it meant that his ability combos were much harder hit to actually try to one-shot people. So he wasn't doing that good. I guess is the takeaway here is that he was doing quite poorly. I'm going to bring this up here because I'm going to be looking at that a lot to explain some of this stuff. Anyway, his passive attack speed is going from 6 to 36 to 7.5 to 45. His lethality is going from 4.5 to 27 to 5.5 to 33. So he's getting more lethality and more attack speed from his passive. I'm not going to explain how his passive works. Just it's complicated, chat. It's complicated. It's very complicated. But I actually don't like this because I actually don't like I've never liked that Aphelios, once he starts putting points in his lethality, once he gets his Lord Dominik's, that he actually starts basically becoming a ranged assassin. I guess in a literal sense, that is what he is, lore-wise, story-wise. He is quite literally, he is a ranged assassin. But in-game, it kind of... The fact that he basically just tries to ult and use like 2 abilities real quick and he tries to one-shot people, or he just spams sentries on the ground and then tries to kill people while spamming sentries. I've never liked this champion. I'm gonna be completely honest. I hate Aphelios. I hate the fucking turret spam that he does. It's so annoying. But this is what they're doing. Will it be enough? He's pretty bad. But the thing is, he's normally bad. If we look at Plat Plus, he's always pretty bad. If we look at Masters Plus, 46%, I mean, that's only like 2% lower than where he normally is, to be honest with you. So, 9% more attack speed, 6 more lethality. Yeah, that makes his late game a lot better. So, I don't know. Brand. Okay, Brand was not overpowered at first, and then he became very, very, very overpowered. I don't know what happened, but like mid-patch, it's like everybody suddenly learned how to play Brand, and his win rate just skyrocketed really quickly. And so they're nerfing him. His passive, instead of doing 3% health, will now do 2.5%. The explosion, instead of doing 10 to 14, will now do 9 to 13. So the percent health, burn, and explosion on his passive, basically he has less free damage. He won't do as much percent health damage. That's it. That's literally it. There's not much more to explain than that. Brand was overpowered, not at the high ranks, but at the low ranks. Brand was pretty overpowered. Now he's less overpowered. Yeah. Caitlyn. Okay, so this shouldn't really be a surprise to anybody. Okay, let me explain this one. So Caitlyn tries to one-shot you with abilities, and while she does have long range, if I look, I'm gonna try to go. I'll do like Diamond 2+. We'll cut it in between. If we look at Caitlyn, yeah. So the problem with Caitlyn is she tries to one-shot you with traps or some like, you know, 90 caliber net Q auto attack ult combo. That was kind of her thing, was trying to combo one-shot people. Now, whether or not you want to argue that it's a good idea for an AD carry to be doing that much burst damage, that's up to you. The problem was she kind of sucks right now, really bad. And so Riot is raising the AD ratio on her Q. Now, they're not raising the base damage, but I believe this is total AD anyway. So being total AD, raising the total AD, well, actually, wait. No, it's going from 130 to 190 to 125 to 205. So actually, her rank 1 Q will do slightly less damage. And the rank 1 mana cost is going up. Okay. We're putting more power in her Piltover Peacemaker to help her procure her proper place, pressuring prosperous people. Does she have some P pun or something that I don't know about? Is there some P pun? I don't know. So they're nerfing her rank 1 Q, which is surprising. I'm not... Why are they doing that? Okay. They're nerfing her rank 1 Q mana cost and damage, but her rank 5 Q mana cost and damage are being buffed. Okay. Her 90 caliber nut, the magic damage is going up by 10 to 50, and the cooldown is going down, but only at the later ranks. Okay, so Caitlyn, I guess they're trying to push her late game a bit more, and they're not trying to push her early game, and they're even toning her early game down a little bit. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why she has these P puns here. I didn't think she was like an Alice in Wonderland character. Okay, Fizz. I'm not really sure what they're doing with this, but okay. Basically, Fizz's E has had a really high mana cost for a very long time. I could go look it up, but just trust me. It's had a very high mana cost for a very long time. Okay. To try to compensate his well, the fact that his E literally makes him invulnerable, and he can E into Hourglass, into E, Q away E, right? In order to try to balance that, they give his E a really high mana cost. So his E is when he goes up on the thing, right? That's like his dodge, right? Everybody get that? So the problem is with the durability update, he actually starts running out of mana doing that. So what they're trying to do is be a little bit of a compensation. Like they're trying to do like, if then, they're bringing his health growth down a little bit, so he'll have 100 less health at level 18, but they're giving him 250 more mana at level 18. Is that a good idea? Is that a bad idea? I don't know. Anyway, that's what they're doing. Okay, Gragas, and I really dislike this. They're bringing Body Slam's cooldown down from 16 to 12 to 14 to 12. Now, those of you who know, Gragas gets a flat 3 reduced cooldown on his Body Slam when he hits somebody. That is, I'm sure you've seen this or you've experienced this. This is inevitably when Gragas does Body Slam into 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 Body. When he does that, okay, that's because he's built a lot of cooldown reduction and he can Body Slam into Body Slam into Body Slam because he gets a flat 3 despite how much cooldown reduction he builds, okay? So they're reducing the rank 1 cooldown, which means it's not going 16 to 12, it's actually going to 11 to 9. So rank 1 Gragas will have a lower cooldown on his Body Slam. That's, in my opinion, that's really bad for game balance, because Gragas has historically just been used to bully the shit out of melee champions who only have one gap closer. He goes Arcane Comet, he chucks Qs at you, he throws his barrels at you, Arcane Comet's off it. If you jump at him, he just body slams away. That, in my opinion, is bad to buff his early game body slamming so he can do that even more. Up here, I don't really mind the barrel roll buff, so his barrel roll is getting a higher AP ratio and it's getting its cooldown reduced. These two changes combined worry me because Riot has had to deliberately go into and nerf Arcane Comet Gragas many times. So they're directly buffing his ability to Q harass you and buffing his ability to body slam it. At 11 seconds instead of even 11 instead of 13, that's a big difference. That's 2 seconds of less, let's call it vulnerability. Because if he's got 2 less seconds where you can actually try to engage on him and deal damage after a body slam, a lot of champions are going to start struggling to ever find any opportunity to go in and deal damage to him. So I'm not a fan of the body slam buff, and I'm not a fan of body slam as an ability, but the barrel roll, whatever. Okay, so Gwen is monstrously broken, one of the most broken champions in the game right now. She's clearly been the best top laner for a while, and the durability update just blanket buffed her. So Riot is going through, they're nerfing the bonus armor and MR in her W. That's her little, the little, what do you call that? Hollowed Mist? That's what she calls it, right? The Hollowed Mist. The Hollow Mist will now give 12 to 20 armor and magic resist instead of 20 flat. The cooldown at rank 5 is also going down from 22 to 14 to 22 to 18. So her Hollowed Mist is oh, it says right here Hollowed Mist. How did I miss that? How did I miss that? Anyway, so big nerfs on this. In addition, they're reverting that wacky buff they did to Skip and Slash. Basically, here's the issue, guys. Okay, when they buff Skip and Slash's cooldown refund from 50% to 60%, a lot of you don't do math, and a lot of you don't really think in your head, oh, it's only getting a 10% cooldown reduction, Hashinshin. But going from 50% to 60% means they're removing 20% of the cooldown because of math. So actually, her E cooldown went, and I believe off the top of my head, once you maxed it, the cooldown went from 4.5, which is low, but seemingly manageable, to 3.6. She had a 3.5 second cooldown on her gap closer. That's Fiora level. But the difference is that she kept using it with her Q. She would EQ, auto, EQ, auto, and it was just ridiculous, and nobody could deal with it. It was just insane. So they're nerfing that, and they're nerfing this. Will this be enough? I don't even know. She's quite overpowered. The durability update helped her a lot because her damage is pretty backloaded. And for a lot of champions, the only real way, the only actual way to fight Gwen was to try to stat check her. Well, it's much harder to stat check her because she can just, I mean, she's tankier and you're tankier and everybody's tankier. But again, with that E change, with that, she had so much sustained damage that she would just DPS race basically everyone. So she was very overpowered before the durability update, and the durability update helped her a lot. Will this be enough? Maybe. Irelia. Okay, so I actually really hate this buff. Okay, so I commented they were nerfing Irelia really hard, and it seemed really bizarre that they were nerfing Irelia so hard. But the problem here is they reduced the heal. It was 8 to 16. They made it 7 to 11. But looking pre-durability update, when I think she was still a little bit overpowered, 8 to 16. Now it's going from 8 to 16 to 9 to 13. So she's actually getting buffed in the early game randomly. Yeah, the late game is nerfed, but everyone's healing went down. Every champion's healing went down, not just Irelia. But then in addition to that, they're doubling down, and then they're buffing her E cooldown from 18 to 16. Now look, I can agree, maybe you shouldn't have nerfed her Q by like 30%. That was bizarrely harsh. I think they were afraid that Irelia and her sustained damage were going to take over the game. I agreed too. I thought that too. But going back and adjusting it, I don't know. The problem, and I'll be blunt with this one, and I'll agree with why this was a mistake. The problem is Irelia and her Q. They mostly heal out of combat, right? Everybody gets that? So in combat, she was very rarely healing debuffed. Most people actually didn't really buy healing debuffs against Irelia. Not ones they could like, oh god, let me put it this way. When Irelia went back and queued the minion waves over and over, it was very rare to actually be in combat, and 90% of the time she was just doing it to heal up after a trade. So by nerfing her Q this hard, it significantly reduced her ability to lane, which reduced her ability to actually win the game. Now, yes, I do agree it should go down because everybody's healing went down for the most part, other than like Garen's passive, which, yeah, Garen's actually doing quite well right now. Other than like Garen's passive, basically every single champion in the game has lost healing. So I do agree with this, but it should have gone, it was 8 to 16, it should go 8 to 13, not 9 to 13. Why is it getting buffed at rank 1? I don't understand. They're saying, oh, it's because she couldn't get as many kills early game. Right, you yourselves are trying to push Irelia out of the early game and more into the late game. You yourselves are saying, man, it's really bad for game balance when Irelia is just a hyper lane bully. You said that, not me. Okay? So it's really weird now that they're now doubling down and massively buffing her early game through an E cooldown reduction and a Q healing buff, primarily at the rank 1. I don't agree with that at all. I think that's quite stupid. Kayn, okay, so I literally have not fought Rost a single time in these 2 weeks, and I've been playing a lot of games, and you guys could watch me. I've been playing a lot of games. I've not fought him a single time. I don't know. Is he overpowered? Is he underpowered? I literally have not fought him once. I don't know how I've managed to do that. I've probably played 200 games on this patch and 0 of them against Kayn. I'm like a fucking ninja, expertly dodging any Rost games. So what they're doing is they're nerfing the AD ratio on his percent health damage on Rost Q. So when he dashes forward and goes, yeah, that thing. Okay, so that's going from a 5.5% AD ratio to a 5% AD ratio. So it's about a 10% nerf to its scaling damage. Is that going to be enough? I don't know. Maybe. I've never fought him, so I don't know how he feels. Yeah. Kog'Maw. Okay, so these Kog'Maw nerfs don't look that big on their own, but as a total, as a whole, they do add up a lot. Okay. So the armor shred percent on his Q, when he spits at you and shreds your armor and magic resist because he's an acid thing, it's going from 25 to 33 to 23 to 31. So he's losing percent pen on his Q. And in addition, the attack speed bonus is going from 15 to 35 to 10 to 30. So he's losing percent pen and he's losing attack speed. And down here, the percent health damage he's getting on his W is going from 3 to 7 to 3 to 6. So early game, he's getting a nerf. Late game, he's also getting a nerf. As a whole, none of these look particularly massive on their own. I'm sure you would agree with that. But as a whole, as a culmination of it all, I assure you, these will actually be fairly good nerfs. Are they going to be enough? I believe Kog'Maw's, yeah, he's like overpowered, but he's not like breaking the game. They probably could have gone a little bit less harsh than this, but I'm actually okay with this. Because Kog'Maw's outdated as shit, and when he's viable, it's actually quite unfun. It's quite unfun to have Rageblade, Wit's End, Kraken Slayer Kog'Maw, who has 3 damage items, and then he goes like Frozen Heart Omen. Some shit like that. I don't know. It's quite unfun when he only needs 3 damage items to carry the entire game and solo everyone, and then he just builds 2 tank items. So it is a good idea to reduce his base damage. It is a good idea to reduce his damage in total. I hate Kog'Maw. I think he's outdated. I think his stat checking ways are bad. So actually, I'm okay with this. Okay, so Lee Sin. Okay. Let's look at my buddy Lee Sin. He's not doing so hot. His win rate did come up a little bit in the last couple days, but I'm assuming, like, the thing is, his win rate hasn't come up nearly enough to compensate for how shit he is right now. He's bad. He's not good at all. And the problem is that Lee Sin kind of relies on his extremely brainless ward hop in, ult into Q, E, one-shot combo bullshittery, right? Well, that doesn't work as well because of the durability update. It doesn't work as well to the point where I don't think his win rate even went down that much. He was always on the... Okay, actually, his win rate barely got touched. Wait, he was 4.6%, 4.6%, 4.6%. On this patch, he's 4.5%. Okay. He seems to have been less impacted by this patch than I imagined. His win rate only went down 1%. So they're giving him back the base damage they took from him, and they're buffing his Q base damage back to where it used to be. Okay, but how much are they buffing his Q damage? So it's 50 to 150. They're buffing it 55 to 155. 50 to 150, 55 to 155. So, okay, he's only gaining 10 damage on his Q. So they're giving him his 2 base damage back, and then they're giving him a total of 10 damage. This looks like a lot. All these patches and all this stuff looks like a lot of changes, but they're only adding 10 damage. This is basically nothing. Okay, so they're basically giving him back the base damage they took a long time ago, and they're giving him a placebo buff on his Q in addition to that. Not really that big a deal. Okay, Lillia. Okay, she's gaining a nerf. That is what I'm calling it. She is gaining a nerf. Congratulations. You've been selected for a stat readjustment. Okay, her base health is going down by 25. This is to try to stop her in top lane. Right now in top lane, she's going there, and due to the durability update, she's much harder to kill. But the thing is, because she's so much harder to kill, it kind of breaks her balance in a way where a lot of champions that she should be losing to, she is instead beating because they can't burst her down. Okay, her passive, I disagree with what they're doing here. Let me explain myself. Let me see if I can explain myself here. Let me find... Okay, actually I can here. So basically what they are doing, what is happening is is going a lot of Rift Maker, a lot of Frozen Heart, a lot of these lower AP items, right? And even just straight up a tank item, potentially a Force of Nature. So by nerfing the AP ratio on her passive, I don't think that they're actually discouraging her from building tank, and instead I think they're discouraging her from not building tank, which I don't think is what they want to be doing. I think they want to encourage her to not sit on a Frozen Heart and a Force of Nature. I think they want her to actually build damage or ability power. So what I would have done is I would have probably nerfed some of her base damage somewhere to make tank Lillia do less damage. I would not have hit the AP ratio because this targets Lillias that are actually building AP items. Unless Riot wants her to be like an AP bruiser thing, which potentially maybe that's what they want from her, I guess. But I'm just saying my piece here. If you don't want her being an AP bruiser that goes Force of Nature and Frozen Heart, if you don't want that, then you should have nerfed her base damage. If you're okay with that, then yeah, I guess the AP ratio nerf is where you should have gone. Okay, Master Yi continues to be the most nerfed champion in all human history. In fact, if I look at this, I don't even think Master Yi is actually playable. Let me sort by win rate. Can we find him by just sorting by low win rate? No? Okay, actually he's decent at Masters. Not literally unplayable though. So the problem is now he's going to be literally unplayable at Masters Plus. Alright, that's even Diamond Plus. Diamond Plus he's going to be unplayable. Turns out that when a tanky champion can deal true damage, it's a little strong. We're taking down Yi's durability and true damage, with both greatly benefited from the durability update. So he's losing health per level. His Wuju style, that's his true damage on his E. The flat amount is going down, so from 30 to 62 to 30 to 50. So he'll do less true damage and he'll have less health. I don't know. I'm not really sure what to say about Master Yi. Feels bad for Master Yi players. The low-ranking people apparently finally figured out how to build Rage Blade, and now he's just destroying them. Okay, Nunu and Willump. Okay, can I look at Nunu and Willump? Okay. Riot. Okay, so let me give you guys a bit of a background info here, okay? I'm gonna need to tell you guys a story before we get into Nunu, because without telling you this, you're gonna lack some information that I want to go into. Okay, so hold on. Okay. Riot assumed that tanks are gonna be buffed by the durability update, as did a lot of people. The problem is they weren't. They weren't buffed at all. They got worse. So on Nunu, they went through and fucking destroyed his Q heal. They thought that, oh my god, tanks are gonna get buffed. We don't want to see Nunu back dominating the meta, so we'll preemptively obliterate him. Well, they did. They did preemptively obliterate him. They reduced the heal ratio on his Q by 40%. They nerfed the AP ratio from 90 to 70. Then they nerfed the flat amount it heals by 30. So anyway, if I go look at this right now, Nunu and Willump, he lost. I'm gonna have to. Okay, Nunu and Willump, he went down to the 26th pick. Now, just to remember, when you go into the higher ranks, Nunu starts falling off. Okay, well, actually, apparently not right now. He fell off really hard. The thing about Nunu, let's be lenient to Nunu players, okay? Let's see things from their eyes, okay? The problem with Nunu is, as a champion, he spam ganks, and a lot of people die to his spam ganking when they really shouldn't be dying. Admit it, you do it too. Somebody says, Nunu's gonna level 3 top lane, or if you're a mid laner, Nunu's gonna level 3 mid lane, and what do? I don't need to listen to that, he's not gonna, and then you die to him, right? Okay, Mastery 44% at Masters Plus, good job Mastery. I think Nunu is actually way more balanced around a 52% win rate. I actually do believe, when I see Nunu at 52% win rate, my first thought is, yeah, that feels about right. I actually do think that. When he's at like a 52% win rate and other people are whining about him and crying and going, no, I'm like sitting there fighting him like, yeah, he can spam gank early game, but he doesn't really scale, right? So the problem is, at least in my opinion, Nunu is like 3% win rate below where he should be. So what Riot is doing, they are buffing his healing back to where it used to be, minus the, yes, the flat amount is going down. So since patch 11.9, if you want to look at patch 11.9 to patch 12.9 to patch 12.11, and you want to ignore this middle ground of patch 12.10, his Q heal will have gone down by a flat 30. But that's it. The AP ratio and the health ratio are still where they used to be before this update, okay? His E cooldown is also going down per rank. Now, Nunu, this is what I was telling you guys, Nunu is really bad at scaling. Nunu scales very, 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 very bad. And so what they're doing is they're keeping the flat heal nerf, but they're giving him back his ratios so he can scale as well as he used to, which was still pretty bad. And then they're giving his E Snowball Barrage a cooldown of 14 to 10 instead of 14 flat. Now, I don't believe Snowball Barrage even goes on cooldown until it's done, so the likeliness that he'll ever get 2 of them off in a fight is pretty goddamn low. But anyway, that's what they're doing. Nunu accidentally got killed by Riot. Riot accidentally shot the child, and now they're using Voodoo to bring him back. Okay, Olaf has been overpowered for about 2 patches now, and I don't actually agree at all with what Riot is doing here. What they're doing doesn't seem to be smart to me at all. But, okay, they're trying to give him some jungle clear and stuff, but okay, I'll just go through it and we'll talk about it. The nerfs are his passive, his ult passive is going from 10 to 40 armor and magic resist to 10 to 30. So late game, he's squishier. In addition, his W, that's his shield, is having its cooldown raised at the late game from 16 to 10 to 16 to 12. So it's going up by 2 seconds. Less armor and magic resist in the late game, higher cooldown in his shield in the late game. What he's gaining is The maximum threshold for the lifesteal, I don't know if that's attack speed too, but basically the maximum value for lifesteal is going up. Instead of capping out how much health or lifesteal he gets at 22.5%, it'll now cap out at 30%. But the amount of lifesteal he gets is nerfed. So I haven't done the math on this, but yeah, basically he can get less lifesteal and it caps out earlier. It might equalize out at the higher health. I haven't done the math on this one. I don't know. Is the maximum value for the attack speed still 22.5 or is that 30? I don't know. Okay, so his Q though, and this is the buff. So these are the nerfs. The buff though is his Q is gaining 10 more flat damage, which actually does impact his early game a decent amount. And the minimum cast time is going from 3 to 2.5. So less cooldown on his Q and more damage, but he gets less lifesteal, less shield, and is squishier in the late game. I don't like this because I really don't like the idea that I don't like the idea that they're trying to push Olaf back into being like the level 2 all-in champion. That you just get level 2, you throw an axe, and you just start running at people, trying to all-in them. Like every 2 seconds, anytime you hit an axe, you just run at people and you just try to all-in them. Less cooldown and more damage on his Q is probably going to start encouraging him to go back to that playstyle, particularly if he scales worse. I don't think this is a good idea. I think he was slightly overpowered, but I don't believe they should have started to like adjust his gameplay. If they wanted to do this W nerf, I would have been all for it, okay? But the W nerf, the ult nerf, and the lifesteal nerf, and then they push him in the early game, I don't like that. You know, cancel this Q buff out, and then just only do the W nerf. That would have been better for everyone. Okay, Rakan got obliterated. I don't really... I hope people understand that Rakan is dead. So basically, a champion who relies on running in and one-shotting people with this combo, right? That's what he does. He ults, presses W, charms into his knockup, and he tries to one-shot you. Does everybody get that? The problem is when everyone's tankier, it works less. He lost a considerable amount of win rate. Not as much as Leona, surprisingly, but he lost a lot of win rate. So they're buffing him. That's it. That's the end of this, okay? His Q heal is going from 18 to 90 to 30 to 115. So a decent ka-chunk more in the early game, and then a bit more in the late game. His W cooldown is going down, which I think they nerfed this. I'm not really sure. So it was 18 to 12. Now it'll be 16 to 10. So he can W. That's when he... Come on! He can go and then knocks you up. Okay. And his E is getting... I think that's his shield? Yeah, that's his shield. His shield is getting a lower mana cost by a lot, actually. Right now it's 60 to 100. It's going to 40 to 60. That is a considerable amount less. And the shield strength is going up by 15 flat at all ranks. So at rank 1, instead of 70, it will be 100. That... The buffs they're doing to like his level 2 and 3 are a little bit considerable. I think they might be overshooting the mark on this one. I'm not 100%, but they might be overshooting the mark on this one. Maybe a little bit. Okay. Rengar. Rengar is massively out of this world broken. One of the most broken champions in the game. He has, if you saw win rate at Masters Plus, of any champion with at least 1,000 games, because these champions don't count, they don't even have 1,000 games, they're just lucked into a few wins. He has a 5% win rate. He is one of those broken champions in the game right now. They need to absolutely destroy him with nerfs. He is crazy overpowered. Crazy overpowered. So what are they doing? What big changes are they bringing in to stop this absolute monstrosity from dominating the game? He's losing 25 health, and his ult cooldown in the late game is going up by 20. Yep, that's it. Nope, there's nothing if you scroll down. Nope, there's nothing above it. Nope, that's it. One of the most broken champions in the game. And they're just like, take 25 health off him and slightly nerf his ult cooldown in the late game. Right, you do know that he stacks ability haste, right? So like his ult is never actually gonna be on cooldown in the late game. Just figured I'd say that. Ryze. They are buffing the mana, sorry, the AP ratio on his E and then reducing its mana cost. We understand that this isn't going to resolve all the issues he's currently facing, but this should help make him feel a little less blue while we look into new ways to make Ryze feel good in solo queue without dominating pro play. Have you thought about not giving him a pro play ultimate? Like, I'm gonna be honest, I know people have harped on this a lot, but Riot, seriously, like legitimate question for you to think about. Have you considered not giving him a pro play ultimate? Like, what were you guys thinking when you did that? Although, to be fair, to be honest, the developers currently working on the game were not the people who gave him that ultimate. So, Riot should maybe like go into their basement and dig up, you know, put chains on whoever originally gave him a pro play ultimate, bring them up to whip them, because I don't understand why they did that. That is dumb. And that's kind of like 90% of the issues that he's facing, is that in pro play, he's got like a really good ultimate in pro play. In solo queue, he doesn't. Yeah. Like in solo queue, he basically has no ult. In pro play, he's got an amazing ult. Do you see the issue here? I hope you understand the issue here. It would be like, imagine if your champion just literally couldn't ult in solo queue, but in pro play they could. Yeah, they would need to be like 40% win rate to not be pick banned in pro play. So, yeah. Samira, the champion who's basically a ranged assassin AoE Dante from the Devil May Cry series, yeah, she obviously didn't do that good in this patch because obviously people don't die to her ultimate. That's it. Her AD growth is going up. She's gaining 5 attack damage at level 18. Oh boy. And then her QAD ratio, I believe it's her AD ratio. Yeah, not her flat damage, but her QAD ratio is going up by 5%. Not really the most exciting buff, but I don't believe, if I look at D2 plus, I don't believe Samira, oh, she was very overpowered, sorry, underpowered. Might be a little bit undershooting this one then. Maybe they're a bit afraid of her being overpowered if they buff her too much, but that's a little bit of an undershoot here, I feel. Maybe a little bit of an undershoot. I guess she is a snowball champion, so if they buff her too much and she wins the early game too much, then she'll start scaling too well and then take over games, I guess. I don't know. Personal opinion. This is just my personal opinion. I probably would have buffed her ult damage just like a little bit because for a champion who like pops off her ult and she goes like, she's like, oh, I'm Dante from the Devil May Cry series, and she starts doing the S rank spin, and everyone around her is going like ding, 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 and then her ult ends, and everyone's like, oh, that was a neat trick, and she's like, I was trying to kill you. Yeah, I don't know. Senna, a broken abomination of a champion who never should exist, who is disgustingly overpowered, commanding a 32% ban rate. I think if you go to Masters, it goes even higher. Yeah, it's nearly a 53% win rate, 18% pick rate, 32% ban rate. One of the most broken champions of all time. So, of course, much like Rengar, we're going to see very large nerfs. She's getting her Mist Wraith drop rate from minions buffed, and then her slow is going down 5%. And the duration now scales. Yeah. I'm going to start a series and I'm going to call it "We'll Definitely Never See Them in the Patch Notes Again." And the series will be me going, "We'll definitely never see them in the patch notes again," on champions that are clearly going to be in these patch notes in like 2 weeks to a month. Getting nerfed again. We'll never see Senna here again, guys, right? This is it. This is a nerf she needed. She's balanced now, right, everybody? Yeah, okay. So Swain, unlike Senna, unlike Rengar, Swain had a commanding... Okay, well, at the low ranks, Swain had a commanding low pick rate and 52% win rate. Huh? Well, anyway, he's, I guess at the low ranks, he's like the tiniest bit overpowered, I guess. I don't know. So what is Riot doing? Are they giving him like a little bit of a love tap? Of course. I mean, they barely nerfed Rengar. They barely nerfed Senna, if you can even notice the nerf. So Swain is like a tiny little insignificantly bit overpowered, I guess, at the low ranks, I guess. I don't know. Swain mid lane? Is he like broken in the mid lane? Do something? Okay, 54%'s not bad at the low ranks. What's he at Master Plus? 52%. Okay, yeah, I mean, I guess he is a little bit overpowered. Okay, that's great. Okay, yep. And I'm sure they're giving him just a little bit of a love tap. You know, just like, hey, Swain, stop being overpowered. Stop doing that. They barely nerf Senna. They barely nerf Rengar. Swain will barely get anything, right? I mean, barely anything. Let's see. His passive healing is down from 3.5 to 7 to 3 to 6. So he's losing 0.5 to 1% healing per passive proc. His W damage is going down 20 at the max rank, and he's losing 15% AP ratio on it. His heal is going down 5 at the max rank, and he's losing 2% AP ratio on it. Okay, I mean, I guess Swain was dealing way too much damage. Okay, Sylas. Okay, so Sylas, I'm gonna show you guys. Sylas was barely healing. Sylas's base heal has been nerfed. Right now, his base heal. I mean, can I look this up? I feel like his base heal is fucking pathetic right now. It's been nerfed 10 trillion times. Yeah, his base heal is now 40 to 200. 40 at rank 1. If he's at 40% health, he gets 40 healing. The max rank is okay at 200, I guess. His healing has been nerfed so much over time that it barely even does anything. So what are they doing? Okay. They're reducing the mana cost on his W, and they are increasing the AP ratio on his W's healing. They are also reducing the cooldown on his W, not at the high rank, so only at rank 1, and then a little bit from there on. So rank 1 W will have a slightly lower cooldown, higher AP ratio on the heal, lower mana cost. His E is getting its cooldown reduced from 14 to 10 to 13 to 9. Sylas, okay, the problem with Sylas is when he can't one-shot people, he's got low cooldowns, but the thing is his low cooldowns are mostly used to try to like set up a crazy one-shot, right? And when Sylas gap closes into people and goes like whoosh, 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 and then they're at like half health, and he's just like standing there in front of them, and he's just like, die, please be dead now, I killed you, please be dead. Yeah, everyone just stands in front of him and beats the ever-living shit out of him. So the triple buff on his W and the buff on his E, particularly the lower cooldown on his E and the lower early game cooldown on his W, should mean that he can actually play around needing more damage to kill people a little bit better. Particularly the higher healing on his W should also help him actually do stuff. Okay. Tahm Kench. Okay, I'm not really sure what's going on with Tahm Kench, because Tahm Kench Senna, I'm gonna show you guys something. Tahm Kench Senna is just literally breaking the game. if you can actually play Tahm Kench Senna, it is one of the most broken roles. It's one of the most broken combos in the game. With Senna barely being nerfed. Like, practically unnoticeable that she even got nerfed. And this is bot. This isn't support. If we do look into support, Tahm Kench is doing quite... Can I find him? Okay, Tahm Kench sucks donkey dick. Let's put it that way. In support. But Tahm Kench as... playing Tahm Kench Senna, with Senna playing the support to Tahm Kench's bot, quite broken. With Senna barely getting nerfed, it does call into question buffing Tahm Kench really hard right now. So, are they barely buffing him? Are they giving him a small, insignificant buff that we won't notice? No, they're actually giving him a significant buff. Remember, guys, here's the thing. Tahm Kench played as a bot lane. That's when he actually gets the CS and Senna plays support to him. And he's not like the carry. Senna is still the carry, even though she's not CSing, which has led to some really fucked up balance. I'm not going to lie. I don't really like the idea that a carry doesn't CS. But, they're buffing the ratio on his passive. Instead of 2.5% bonus damage per hit, he'll now do 4%. That's a pretty significant buff. So the scaling on his passive is going way up, from 2.5 to 4%. The healing on his Q, now that's just a flat amount, is going from 10 to 20 to 10 to 30. That's just an undo on the nerf they did earlier. But I think the percent missing health is still nerfed into the ground from where it was before the durability update. And the shield strength on his ultimate is going up 150 to 50. Okay, the problem with this, Riot, giving him way more shield strength in the early game, giving him more healing on his Q, giving him more damage on his passive. Look, Riot, there is a problem. Senna is literally breaking the game, Riot. There is a problem here. When you actually play Senna properly, can I find the duos thing here? Yes, when you actually play her properly, the champions she actually has synergy with, she kind of breaks the game. Is Senna, I don't even know, Vayne dominating the game? No. But Senna Tahm Kench, yeah, that's actually dominating the game. So there's an issue here, right? There's an issue. Taliyah. Okay, Taliyah is one of the most broken champions in the entire game's history. Literally ever. I'm not exaggerating. This is after she got hotfix buffed, or sorry, nerfed. Let's look in the mid lane. After being hotfix nerfed, Taliyah has a 54% win rate in mid lane at Masters Plus. If we look at the Grandmasters, it goes up to 55%. If we look at the Challenger, she has a 55% ban rate. And that's after she got hotfix nerfed. She is one of the most broken champions that has ever existed in League's history. If she didn't get that hotfix nerf, she would likely have been at 58%. Not quite Skarner level. Season 5 Skarner, for those of you guys who don't know. Not quite Season 5 Skarner level, but way up there, right? So her base health is going down by 20, so she can actually get squished. Huh. So basically she didn't even get the durability update. They basically removed the durability update from her level 1. Her Q cooldown is going back up, which is shocking because, oh man, who knew that a 2.5 second cooldown that could then be reduced to a 0.75 second cooldown by recasting might be overpowered? Who knew that going boom, 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 big rock, boom, 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 big rock, boom, 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 big rock? Who knew that that would be overpowered when it did so much damage and had no fucking cooldown? I'm like fighting an army of kindergartners throwing rocks at me. Right? So her damage, looks like her base damage is getting nerfed. Her AP ratio is not getting nerfed, but her base damage is getting nerfed. Her cooldown is getting nerfed. Her E no longer does bonus damage to monsters. No, wait. Her E now does do bonus damage to monsters. And she can no longer ult within 3 seconds of dealing damage. Is that it? I was scrolling down and I expected more. That's it, right? What? Riot, can we have a conversation? You seem to have nerfed Swain more than any of these other champions. You have multiple champions with 55% win rates, with over 50% ban rates, and you kind of gave them like a little bit of a love tap. And then you have Taliyah. Riot, this isn't enough. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do a series called "We'll Definitely Never See Them Back in the Patch Notes," because Riot, we will see Taliyah back here in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, everybody. Mark your calendars. Okay? 2 weeks from now, I'm gonna be back here reading the next Taliyah nerfs. Okay. Okay, so Taric is getting buffed because they absolutely obliterated him. I'm not gonna go over it. I'm getting a little bit bored of saying they absolutely obliterated this champion and now they're bringing him back. Like, okay, yes, I'm getting bored of it. Okay, I've said it so many times. So Taric, where are you, T-man? Taric, no, not a bookmark. Taric, oh, he was all the way down here. I should have just looked at the bottom. Very low pick rate, very low win rate. Absolutely shat on. Riot nerfed the ever-living crap out of his abilities, and they nerfed him into the goddamn ground. And, obviously, that didn't help, because they killed him. They murdered Taric. So his E stun is getting its cooldown reduced. Instead of 17 to 13, it'll be 15 to 11. And the stun duration is going up, so he will stun more often, and for longer. That's it. That's literally it. His Q mana cost is going down to a flat 60. So no longer, hopefully, no longer he will need to stack mana items just to fight people for longer than 5 seconds. And the health ratio on his Q heal is also going back to where it used to be. So Taric is getting buffed because he was absolutely obliterated by Riot. Tryndamere. Okay, Tryndamere is getting his Q. Again, basically they're undoing the nerf they did to his ultimate, and they're undoing the nerf they did to his Q healing with, okay. let me give you some lore. Guys, get your pen and pencil. We're gonna do Tryndamere lore. Okay, so Tryndamere was overpowered, then he got nerfed by nerfing his ult cooldown. Then, during the durability update, they nerfed his healing. But the problem is Tryndamere didn't heal in combat. He healed out of combat. So the problem was by nerfing his healing out of combat, all they did was nerf the champion. Because the issue is that when you're out of combat, you don't get healing debuffed. He would auto attack the minion wave, press Q to heal. He wasn't healing debuffed. Nobody healing debuffed him at that time. So they just nerfed his healing really hard. They might have nerfed healing debuffs. Yes, healing debuffs are now smaller than they used to be, but he never healed in combat. He healed after combat. So they obliterated his laning phase. And in addition to that, with people being more durable, his ultimate is less disgustingly overpowered. When champions died in 3 hits, his ultimate was way more powerful. With champions now taking 4 or 5 hits to kill, his ultimate is not as overpowered. Okay? Okay. Veigar has been disgustingly overpowered for 12 billion years now. So they're not really doing anything, I'll be honest. They're not really doing anything. His E will now have a slightly longer cooldown in the early game, and his armor growth is down in the early game, but then he gets it back and more in the late game. Late game buff, early game nerf, early game nerf. And that's it. I guess that's it. I don't know. This is nothing. One of those broken champions, and they didn't really do anything. Which is, whatever. Not really that big a deal. Not gonna do anything. Tell me if you're tired of hearing me say this. Wukong is one of the most broken champions in the game right now. Absolutely dominating, commanding a 41% ban rate. One of the most broken champions in the game. And what are they doing? What are they doing to stop this broken champion from dominating? Yeah, okay, they're basically doing nothing. Wow, you figured it out. His W cooldown is going up slightly early game, and his E bonus damage to monsters is going down slightly. We did it! Whoa! That's it. That's literally it. Yep, nope, he definitely won't command a 53% win rate with 41% ban rate anymore, right? You kinda sorta slightly nerfed his ability to jungle, I guess, in a way. Maybe, I'll be honest, maybe this W change fucks with his jungle timings enough and he can't W over walls as easily, and he needs to actually walk past a wall, so his jungle clear speed is nerfed, and maybe he's actually balanced now. I don't know. Maybe. I'll be honest, right? Honestly, maybe. It won't be, but maybe. I'll give you that. Maybe they screwed with his jungle clear enough, and now he needs to clear in a different way. I don't know. I doubt it. But maybe. Okay, so Xin Zhao, okay. I'm gonna say it again. Xin Zhao got absolutely obliterated by Riot during the durability update. They massively nerfed him in a way that he didn't need to be nerfed, much like Taric and Nunu and every one of these other champions. Tryndamere, who got their healing absolutely obliterated, they're now going back and unobliterating their healing because shockingly they didn't need their healing to get obliterated. So he's getting back the AD ratio on his passive. They nerfed it from 10 to 7%. It's going back to 10%. They are also buffing the damage on his W, the actual stabby part of the W, not the slicing part, but the stabby stab part. That part is getting its damage buffed from, well, it's being buffed by 10 with a 10% AD ratio additionally. And they're also buffing its AP ratio, I guess. Well, okay. Well, okay. He gets more AP ratio. The mana cost is going from 60 at all ranks to 60 to 40, I guess. Okay. I don't want to read this. Zeri, we nerfed you so much that you haven't been remotely scary. So this time around, we're giving you more damage to make you merry. That said, buffs come at a cost, and we're being wary, so we're lowering your utility and mobility, you electric carry. Do I need to read this? Do you guys really want me to read through all this? Okay, her Q will do more damage. That's her gunshot. Pew pew, that will do more damage. You know, it goes... Okay, that's gonna do more damage. Her passive, when he goes chew, well, nobody ever fully charges it, but if they did, it would be like chew. I don't know. I can't do lightning noises. Chew, I don't know. So she no longer slows. Okay, when she fully charges her passive, it no longer slows, but that's kind of ironic considering what I just said. The damage on her passive is going up. Okay, so her supercharged passive no longer slows, but now its damage is way higher. Okay. Yep, okay. Her W, that's when she goes... And it goes like... I'm describing her abilities with sounds because I don't know any of them other than the sound they make. Okay, so her W is when... I guess that's her lightning that never actually hits anyone ever. So the one that you kind of see, but it takes 9 years to go off, so no one ever fucking actually gets hit by it. That one, it's gonna do, I guess it's gonna do more damage, and it'll slow less, and the cooldown is going down. Now she can miss it more often. Her W, and now that's her dash, and you can tell because whenever she uses it, a bruiser goes, "Fuck you!" So the fuck you ability where she dashes over a wall, that is having its cooldown reduced, but the cooldown reduction per attack is going way down. So it'll be on a lower cooldown, but she'll be able to reduce it significantly less, leading hopefully to less dash. And her ultimate, that's Pikachu's Thunderbolt. From Super Smash Brothers, when Pikachu uses Thunderbolt and it goes, Pika? I don't actually remember. Pikachu! And it does the lightning on... Yeah. Okay, so her Pikachu's lightning thunderstorm thing, its cooldown is being way reduced. She's getting less movement speed per stack. And she's getting more stacks when she actually hits enemies. And less stacks if... Well, less... Okay, she's getting less movement speed per stack, but more stacks if she actually tries to hit anyone with it. Okay. Grievous Wounds is being nerfed. I want to read this again. Despite the Okay, let me try this again. Despite the systemic nerf last patch, Grievous Wounds is still too impactful on the game, forcing us to push healing to unreasonable levels. We think Grievous Wounds itself should be a conscious choice that really shines against enemies with overwhelming amounts of healing, not just moderate amounts, since that detracts from the more exciting items you can buy. So we're nerfing Grievous Wounds itself a little bit more, but also compensating the items that apply to it to keep them at roughly the same power level. So Klud's getting nerfed again. Wait, is Klud not being buffed? Huh. Boy, I think Klud would want to give up his Q healing debuff to get the cooldown on it back. Okay, so healing debuffs are being nerfed from 50-30 to 40-25. So Klud's getting nerfed, Katarina's getting nerfed, Singe, Varus, and Ignite are all getting nerfed. Wow, we did it, everybody! Ignite is now fucking where it used to be in Season 9. We did it! 2 seasons of fucking up the meta, and it's gone. It's back to where it fucking used to be. We obliterated teleport. We destroyed the meta constantly. We broke champions non-stop. We fucked up all the balance. We ruined everything for 2 years just to undo it. We did it. What a development team. Okay, so Bramble Vest is going from 30 to 25, but the damage on the passive is going from 3 to 4. More damage, return, but it will now reduce healing debuffs less. Thornmail. By the way, Thornmail is actually getting a pretty big buff here, so pay attention to it. Thornmail is losing the healing, so it's going from, again, it's going from 50-30 to 40-25, but Thornmail is going from 10 with 10% bonus armor to 10 with 20% bonus armor. That is kind of substantial, actually. That's kind of a big deal. Executioner's Calling is getting a bit overbuffed, if you ask me. It's going from 15 damage to 20, but it's going from 30 to 25% healing debuff. That's a buff, and a fairly large one. Nobody possibly heals enough this early in the game that Executioner's Calling will possibly do less effect. So Executioner's Calling went from one of the best items in the game to still, actually, one of the best items in the game. Mortal Reminder is going to 40%, but no one gives a shit. Oh, you only need to auto-attack them 2 times instead of 3 to get the super debuff. It doesn't fucking matter. Honestly, the doesn't matter. Mortal Reminder got hard nerfed, actually. Mortal Reminder gets hard nerfed. Thornmail gets a buff nerf. It's actually far more interesting. Champions like Rammus can do far more return damage. Malphite can do far more return damage. Thornmail's far more interesting for them. Mortal Reminder gets shit on. Ride beat the shit out of it. The only reason I can assume they did this is because Yone and Yasuo were straight first iteming it, and Garen was second iteming it, and it was actually... The stats were a bit too high, actually, on this item. Overall, the stats were just way too high, and it was just kind of being picked as a stat stick that happened to healing debuff, which isn't... You don't really want that. You don't want that. You don't want a giant stat stick that happens to healing debuff. So, it'll still be a stat stick. Yeah. Chempunk Chainsword is actually getting a rather substantial buff. 55 damage with 25 ability haste. I think this one might be going a little bit too far, but we'll see. The empowered Grievous Wounds is going from 50 to 40, but with 10 more damage and 10 more ability haste, Chempunk Chainsword is kind of looking like a good stat stick now. 55 damage, 25 ability haste, 250 HP. That's a pretty good stat stick. Doesn't it only cost like 2,600 gold too? So it's like if you don't need an armor shred and you kind of just want to hit healing, then you go this instead of Black Cleaver, and it's just a giant stat stick for pretty cheap actually. Oblivion Orb! Welcome to Oblivion. Okay, same thing, a little bit more ability power, less healing. Merlinocon, more health, more ability power, less healing. Chempunk Putrefier is getting 5 ability power. This one's the only one that's actually getting like hard nerf. No one gives a shit about 5 ability power. The fact that you cannot permanently apply 60% healing debuff because, oh man, every time you shield, you have to shield people though. When you shield and heal people, then you get a super healing. Yeah, okay, shut the fuck up, Riot. No one gives a shit. It was a permanent 60% healing debuff item. Now it's only 40%, which is good for healing champions. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, you fellas. I truly believe that they will come back here. I believe this is my guesstimation. My guesstimation is that Aatrox will be getting a slight nerf next patch because nerfing all the healing debuffs. They were a little bit light on the Aatrox nerfs, and he was underperforming a little bit, but definitely no longer having to fight permanent 60% healing debuffs from the supports makes him a chunk better in team fights. You have to remember, Aatrox literally was permanently healing debuffed by 60%. There was nothing you could do to remove it. All they had to do was shield or heal, which there was literally no way to stop them from doing. Then he was 60% healing debuffed forever. So this item here, this is the big one. This one coming down to 40% means that no longer does their team merely having a Yuumi mean that as Aatrox you can no longer heal. Okay, so I assume that we will likely be seeing a slight love tap on Aatrox's healing come next patch. That's my assumption. I could be wrong. Maybe. I don't know. Every healing, by the way, just to be clear for everyone who doesn't understand this, all healing in the game got nerfed. All of it. All of it got nerfed across the board. All of it, okay? So if you don't buy a healing debuff, if you don't buy these items, if you don't need a healing debuff, all healing is now worse. So you don't need to buy a healing debuff. The Riot's plan, their goal, is that you don't feel the need just because you're fighting a Xin Zhao who happened to go a Gore Drinker, for example. They're hoping that you don't feel the need to have to build a healing debuff just because they have a Xin Zhao with a Gore Drinker, or because they have an Irelia. Whether or not that will actually turn out the way they hope it will, I don't know, but this is at least their hope. Okay, so mage items are seeing a slight rework. Crown of the Shattered Queen is going up 10 ability power. That kind of makes sense. Now that you don't need to buy this to not get one shot, it kind of lost a lot of its usefulness. I'm not sure why it is even... They should honestly just remove it. It's not needed anymore. At this point, it's kind of just a stupid item. It doesn't need to exist. Maybe rework it into a AP bruiser item. Maybe make it give like maybe a little bit of armor and magic resist or something. I don't know. But at either rate, it doesn't need to exist anymore. It doesn't serve a purpose. If you're not giving one shot, then why would you ever build this item? Anyway, Everfrost is getting its slow and root duration reduced from 1.5 to 1. That's it. Everfrost has been overpowered for quite some time. Now they're nerfing it, which is okay. That's the thing. Landry's Anguish is losing 10 damage over the course of its burn. I'm gonna be dead honest, I don't think it's enough. I would probably have gone down to 40. Landry's Anguish is pretty goddamn broken, and it single-handedly basically keeps Swain's damage relevant. Swain does no goddamn damage and sucks, but he goes Landry's Anguish and then he does decent damage. This item is pretty broken, and it's been broken for a very long time. The problem is that everyone was getting one shot, so building a dot item didn't do much. But now that not everyone is getting one shot, then Landry's Anchorage is really overpowered. Night Harvester, otherwise known as the Shitty Ludens. Shitty Ludens is getting its ability haste upgraded from 15 to 25, and the cooldown per champion is going from 40 to 30. So Shitty Ludens will be slightly less shitty, but it will still, at the end of the day, be Shitty Ludens. Right? Should look into why Shitty Ludens is a thing, because it's Shitty Ludens, right? Why does it exist? Riftmaker is losing 10 ability power. Not really that big a deal. Basically, obviously, if everyone is not... Okay, basically, an item that needs you to stack up over time, if everyone's getting one shot, then Riftmaker, obviously, isn't as good as it could be. Because if everyone's getting one shot, then who's going Riftmaker? Nobody, right? Well, Mordekaiser. But if nobody's getting one shot anymore, then an item that stacks up its damage starts being a premium item. It starts being way better than it was before. So Riftmaker is getting nerfed, Everfrost is getting nerfed, the other items are getting buffed. Ludens is staying the same because Ludens. Tank items. Okay, so tanks have been, yeah, tanks got a little bit of a nerf. There's still some tanks that are doing okay. I think basically Mundo is it though. I mean, if I look here, can I find Mundo? Mundo. Yeah, Mundo is still like 52%. He used to be 53. Once we go to Masters Plus, we see tanks are, I mean, Ornn is still kind of sort of playable, but he went down in pick rate and win rate. And Shen, by the way, Shen was 53, so Shen's down to 52. Every tank in the game lost win rate. So the tanks that were playable kind of remained, for the most part, playable. Any tank that was bad or got directly obliterated by Riot, because Riot hates Scion people, they sucked and died. So what Riot is doing, this might be a bit of an overshoot by their part. I think this is probably definitely a bit of an overshoot, if I'm gonna be honest. Bambi Cinder is getting buffed, which is, okay, that's fine, right? But they're raising the health on all the tank mythics by 100. Look, if you raise them to 400, I would probably have been okay with that. But to 450, there's a lot of people who build tank items who weren't underpowered. Now, I think Turbo Chem Tank was blatantly the best one. So maybe you shouldn't have buffed Turbo Chem Tank. But yeah, I think, yeah, there's a little bit of fucky-wuckiness here happening is all I'm saying. I don't know if this was a good idea. Abyssal Mask, which has sucked ever since forever, actually, is getting its magic resist. The flat magic resist that you get before cursing an enemy, now cursing them is standing next to them, right? If the flat magic resist is going up 5, the curse magic resist is going up 9. So that's 9. So basically the maximum you can get has been raised to 80. If you're in between 5 people, you can get 80 magic resist with this item. I'll be honest, when you really math it out like that, it's not that good of an item. I'm sorry to say, it's just not really that good. Knight's Vow is going from 10 ability haste to 20. Shockingly, an item that you build to stop the AD carry from getting one shot isn't too useful if the AD carry is not being one shot. Random's Omen is getting buffed because Frozen Heart is overpowered, and they both have the same passive, so you can only get one, and everyone goes Frozen Heart because it's overpowered. I can think of a different way they could have fixed this issue. But if Frozen Heart is overpowered, then I guess Randuin's Omen needs to be buffed because Frozen Heart is overpowered. I'm sure many people are maybe understanding what the solution could have been, but instead of fixing the problem, they are buffing Randuin's Omen armor. Ah, okay. Spirit Visage, which shockingly, by the way, how many times did I have to math this out for you, Riot? Spirit Visage, I shit you not, this is true. Before the durability update, Spirit Visage gave 0 magic resist. Let me explain. Your average mage had so much magic pen before the durability update that Spirit Visage rose you from 0 magic resist to like 12. This entire fucking item gave you 12 magic resist on average. Yeah. So now it's getting buffed from 40 MR to 50. The only issue I have with this, potentially, I'm not saying it will be an issue, but potentially my only issue is by nerfing Void Staff and by giving everybody more magic resist. Spirit Visage actually does give you magic resist now. It used to give you basically 0 because mages were penetrating you so hard. They were penetrating you so deep. But now with Void Staff nerfed, with people having more magic resist, Spirit Visage actually does do something now. However, it still has kind of gone under the radar. My personal opinion is maybe they should have given it back the health regen. It's 100% right now. Could you push that back to 200%? Spirit Visage, ironically, was one of the good items for split pushing and for tanks because it gave so much health regen. It sort of gave you like a quasi lifesteal that allowed you to, you know, like if I'm playing Darius, I could actually stay on the split push. I think Darius used to heal like 20 health a second or something late game if he went Spirit Visage and stuff like that. And I think it was actually 25 if you went Zeke's Herald and Spirit Visage, if you guys are old enough to remember that. But at any rate, its health regen got nerfed. I think, in all honesty, push the health regen back to 200% from 100%, and then maybe push, I don't know, maybe could it maybe get some ability haste? Instead of doing this random magic resist buff, which I don't like, because here's the thing, right? I don't think a Spirit Visage as a magic resist item, and I don't think anyone actually thinks a Spirit Visage as a magic resist item. It's the shield and heal item, not the magic resist item. In my opinion, you could actually just straight take the magic resist off it, and it would actually be better balanced. But here's my actual opinion. Okay, here's my actual opinion. Remove the magic resist entirely. Just, I know that's a bit of a bold statement. Remove the magic resist entirely. Push it to 500 health, 25 ability haste, 200% health regen, and in all honesty, kind of see what that does. Will it still be shitty? I don't know, maybe. But I think that would actually make it better balanced if you could use Spirit Visage as a health item, like sort of as a cap item, kind of how Gargoyle is supposed to be, but fails to be. If you could do, for example, like if I'm fighting a heavy physical damage comp, and I could go, you know, a tank mythic into Frozen Heart, into Spirit Visage, into Gargoyle, that would be good. So that's actually what I think. I think remove the magic resist, push it to 25 ability haste, push it to 500, maybe even 550 health, maybe even 600. Let's go bold. Let's go 600. Remove the magic resist, lots of HP, lots of ability haste, push the health regen back up. I think this should be a pretty solid item. I'll be dead honest with you, Riot. There's no point to building a magic resist item right now that's not Force of Nature, and I don't think you should be competing with Force of Nature because it shouldn't be competing with Force of Nature. You're trying to like make it compete with Force of Nature, but they totally serve different purposes. Anyway, Zeke's Herald is getting armor. Who gives a shit? Okay, so Blade of the Ruined King's getting buffed because everyone's building it. There, repeat that. Blade of the Ruined King is being buffed because everybody's building it. One more time for those in the back. Blade of the Ruined King is being buffed because everybody is building it. The stance is getting nerfed because Riot literally can't admit that making it scale on AD was a shit idea, and now Assassins and everyone else is building it. 2 shitty changes in a row. Maw of Mare Mortius is getting its cooldown nerfed. 3 shitty changes in a row. Guys, who gives a fuck about the cooldown of Maw of Mare Mortius? Like, what do you, like, you're running in, getting it popped, then running away, healing to full, then running back in under a minute? How could that be? How could you do that? The cooldown isn't the problem. The problem is that it's like an 800 goddamn shield late game. That's a bit of an issue. When even Veigar's ultimate, Veigar, the dude who literally one-shots, he was like chucking, like, he's fucking like Kamehameha. He was like, "Argh!" And the shield goes like, blink. And Veigar's just sitting there like, uncool. Yeah, that's the problem. The shield is way too goddamn big. So 3 shitty changes in a row. Steric's Gauge is getting buffed because, to the shock of absolutely nobody, over-nerfing this item into the fucking ground was a poor decision. Riven is getting buffed. Riven will now get 7 ability haste instead of 5 on the mythic passive of Gore Drinker. Congratulations, Riven, on your buff. Thank you. Thank you. Ribbon players like, oh, it's too much, Riot. It's too much. Thanks for thinking of me. Oh, you guys are best. Kraken Slayer is getting nerfed because, shockingly, yes, sustained damage is really overpowered right now. It's losing some damage, and its AD ratio is getting nerfed. Yeah. Umbral Glaive is getting its cooldown increased from kill every ward on the map every 35 seconds to kill every ward on the map every 40 seconds. Scientists wonder, why does it kill every ward on the map every 40 seconds? Here's the thing, right? Why does this item let you kill every ward in one hit? Every assassin just like walks through the river, wipes out every ward, their family, their mother, their father, fucking chases them home, chokes them, kills them, butchers every ward ever. And then 40 seconds later, they get to do it again. It's a little bit much, Riot. It's a little bit much. Systems changes. Okay, the outer turret. Okay. I'll be honest, at first, I liked the outer turret doing more damage. The outer turret went from like, I'm too weak, I can't stop anyone from turret diving you, to like, here's my impression of the outer turrets on this patch, okay? Did anyone try to kill my fucking leaders? I will fuck your family! So anyway, the outer turrets were a little bit too much, and they fucked your entire family for daring to mess with anybody. You'd like look at somebody under turret for 1 second, and the turret would just like, fucking, just like, ugh. You got like fucking tanks would die in 4 hits from the outer turret. Oh man, okay. So, yeah, the outer turret is getting nerfed a little bit. Yeah. End of game chat is now opt-in. I mean, that's not bad, right? Okay. Bug fixes. Fixed a bug where Kiana's Q would sometimes not deal damage to enemies moving towards her. This bug should be resolved, but due to the extremely low reproduction rate, we cannot be 100% certain, but keeping... Okay, blah, 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 blah. Fixed bug where Sylas is healing from Fiora stolen... Blah, blah, blah. Wait, what? Oh. Okay, that's nothing. Fixed bug where Veigar would retain Janna's passive. Fixed a bug where Gnar would not receive the attack speed bonus from his E-hop if his jump was interrupted by certain crowd control effects. That was a bug? I mean, if you say so, right? Wait, what? That seems like a big bug. Fixed a bug where Nidalee's E Primal Surge would not grant bonus attack speed when cast on allies. How did that not get hotfixed? How much attack speed does that ability give? I feel like that ability was kind of notable. Wasn't the attack speed on that like really kind of a big deal? Let me look this shit up. Yeah, that was 20 to 60% attack speed. Not as much as I remember, but not a small amount. That feels like a bug that should 100% have been hotfixed. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Fixed a bug where Starrick's gauge would not accurately count the damage blocked by Shield's tooltip counter. What? Riot, there's no bug. Hold on, guys, let me show you. There's no bug. Fixed a bug where Starrick's gauge would not accurately count the damage blocked by Shield's tooltip counter? Guys, that's not bugged at all. Hold on here. Can I launch League of Legends, or is it gonna bug out for me? Let me show you guys. Let me show you exactly what I mean. Everyone just sit here. Everyone just sit here, okay? Nobody move. I'm gonna show you that they fixed that bug. Okay? Just wait here for a second. This will be worth it. Trust me. Just trust me. Just trust me. Just trust me. How's everybody doing? Do you guys see my Prestige Blood Moon Aatrox 2022? Pretty cool. Challenges are here now, by the way. Everybody see challenges? Challenges are here now. They weren't here earlier, but now they are here. So, yeah. So, okay, let me show you. It's not actually bugged. See, because they removed it from the tooltip, so it doesn't exist. It's now not counting damage because it doesn't count anything. They removed it. It's fixed, guys. It's gone. What bug, right? What bug? There's no bug. It's not saying 0. There's no bug at all. You fixed it. Blah, 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 blah. This is all stupid shit. Okay, on to skins. Everybody wants skins, right? Okay. Battle boss Bel'Veth. It's a giant... I think I saw this in one of my nightmares. It's a giant manta ray girl thing. Okay. Not much to say about that one. What is this? Ocean Song Ashe and Ocean Song Zeri. That's Ashe? And Zeri? That's Ashe and Zeri? That's Ashe and Zeri. This, what I'm seeing in front of me, is Ashe and Zeri. Which ones? I'm like afraid to ask. Okay, so this gotta be Zeri because she's got the gun. That's gotta be Ashe. Really? Ashe, really? I just see misfortune. As for Zeri, okay. Ocean Song Yone, Ocean Song Nidalee, Ocean Song Seraphine. Seraphine's getting another skin, huh? Okay, right, is Seraphine like a A cup? Okay, Nidalee is more than an A cup. Is that Nidalee? That is Nidalee. Where they went backwards. Right, you went backwards. Somehow the boobs inverted. Okay, does Seraphine weigh like 70 pounds? That can't be doing any good. Hold on here. This can't be doing good for women's body image, because she looks like she literally weighs 70 pounds. There's nothing here. Nidalee at least looks healthy. Seraphine, there's nothing to her, right? She's dead. She's dead. I like how Yone's in the back. They're like, fucking hot girl, Yone too. Yeah, I guess Yone is also here. Prestige Ocean. You know, I don't know why I didn't think there would be a prestige skin for Seraphine. I mean, it kind of looks like Seraphine if she was the most generic white girl ever to generic white girls, I guess. This one looks more like Seraphine. I'll be honest. This one I can tell. Like this one, I'm like, this is definitely Seraphine. This one is generic white girl. Is that really Seraphine? That is Seraphine. If you didn't tell me who that was, I would... Who? This looks like Seraphine. By the way, notice how there's like an actual body here? Whoever drew this... Seriously, where's the rest of her? Is she underwater? Riot, are you drowning Seraphine? Don't drown Seraphine, Riot. Okay, let's look at the actual skins. Okay, I don't know. Like I have no perspective. I don't know what I would compare this to. Okay, it's Bel'Veth. I've never seen Bel'Veth. Ocean Song Ashe. This doesn't look like Ashe at all. Honestly, I'm still seeing misfortune. Maybe like a Caitlyn, perhaps? I'm not seeing an Ashe here. Definitely not seeing an Ashe. Nidalee. Okay, I see Nidalee with this one. That's definitely Nidalee. Right, should you really be having the model clip? Like, you're using this to sell your model, right? Like, this is promotional. Why is it clipping into the leg right here? Right? Okay. Seraphine. A dead ass. I don't know, dude. That just doesn't look like Seraphine to me. Am I crazy? Am I the crazy one? I don't see it. I don't know who it looks like, but not. Okay. Ocean Song Yone. Well, I mean, you can't really even tell who it is. His face is just covered in his stupid fucking sunglasses and his ugly fucking everything because he's a piece of shit. Ocean Song Zeri. That does look like Zeri, I'll give him that. This is Zeri. If you ask me who that is, I'd be like 3 seconds. Nope, that's Zeri. 2 seconds. 1 second, Zeri. Yeah, okay, that looks like Zeri, 100%. This one, who is this? Like, I feel like this is a different character. Are they sure this is Seraphine? Are you sure, right? You sure? You sure, right? Seraphine. This is Seraphine. I don't know. They're not showing the prestige? The following skins will be released this patch. They say they're releasing Prestige Ocean Song, but it's not here. It's not here, right? You lied to me, you... Okay, anyway, that's gonna be it for this entire video. Yep, that's it. That's this entire patch thingy bobbery video. Yep, not much more to say. That's it. That's literally it. So, here's what we're gonna do, my chatting friends. I'm gonna read you the Patreon names, because you should be subscribing to my Patreon. Did you know that every day 1 million Hashinshins get DMCA'd and lose all their money and then will eventually starve to death in the street? That's true. 1 million... Wait, chat actually... Where's Renekton? Wait, Renekton got his buffs pulled? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna refresh his page. Renekton got his buffs pulled. What? Why? What? Okay. So Renekton's dead again. He got killed again. Bye-bye, Renekton. They said they were going to buff him, and then they didn't. That's a bit unfortunate. So what we're going to do is we're going to read the name of all the Patreon supporters that continue to support this and make this stuff viable. If you want to join my Patreon, you can see the link in the description. Joining my Patreon is the best way to support Hashinshin and ensure that I don't starve to death and have to move in back with my mom when I'm a zombie corpse. Anyway, let's read them all. Starting from the people doing the most, and then the people not, well, I mean, everyone does something, but you know what I mean. Going from top to bottom in current tier. Anyway, thank you. Monica, Vape Lord Volnir, 3 and a Hook. 3 and a Hook? Okay. Amiru, Blazenrock, Christoph Marks, Crash Pinho, Fire Digger, Genny Shelbert, Guardian Lamartz, Horus the Burb God, Josiah Davila, Kokirli, Malice, Mao Runner, Omar Nunez, Philemon Landry, Sophie, Sophisticated Fart, Destroy, Used Car Salesman, Amzarine, Ben, another Ben, Ben G. We now have 3 Bens. We now have Ben and Ben and Ben G. Guys, come on. British Mapper, Creador, Daniel Fiala, Daisy Mew, Yed God, Esteban Arias, Bell, Fanaku, Full Yuki, Hentai with Senpai, Hoon Arthur, Joseph Stalin, Justicier, Calfos Zeromar, Naptroll, Ludwig III, Manuel, Negative KDA, Noxian Scion, PKZ, Scorpion, Spook, Suki02, Take One, Tomato, Uvo Plaja, Villain, WLC, League of Legends, Wolfman, Yan Shuchi, and Qingming Veng. Thank you, everybody, for joining my Patreon. If you want to give input on what video I should do next, make sure to join my Patreon, because on Patreon, I always, I try to at least once a month do a video that you guys vote on Patreon. So if you want to suggest a video or give your input on what video I should do, make sure to join my Patreon. Thank you everybody for liking. Thank you everybody for subscribing. Thank you everybody for being here. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to leave a comment down below. I will now go play more League of Legends because I am dumb and play League of Legends.